I'm Adam Willems, lead reporter at the Financial Revolutionist.
And I'm Tatyana Kratunova, head of the FIS Accelerator.
Thank you, Tatyana, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm wondering if you could sort of briefly explain what you do and what the FIS Accelerator is.
Sure. I'm head of the FX Accelerator, and as part of my work, we look at selecting up to 10 different fintechs each year that are innovative, bringing new technology to the industry, and I lead all the efforts around it.
Very interesting. So, how does the accelerator relate to the larger FIS umbrella?
That's a good question. We start by looking at what are the priorities we want to address each year. Those priorities come from three separate streams. One is our internal priorities and what we're looking to do in addition to all of our investments in our technology. We then look at what does our customers need. That alignment for us is super important to ensuring that our customers and our businesses are looking at the same priorities. And then we work with ecosystem partners to understand what does that look like. Is it are there any different viewpoints that we should take into account? And then that sets the priorities for what the accelerator will look at for the year.
Okay, so what are you looking at in 2024?
It's a good question. I think if you look at the key thematics, they are the same. We look at data and AI, we look at RegTech, we look at fraud. But what I tell everyone is that we really want to hear from fintechs that have specific use cases. A lot of the technologies and the pitches that come to us are sometimes very broad for various different reasons. And I want to really encourage people to think about what is the specific use case that you're trying to address in those spaces, and what is the target outcomes that you're trying to get for the end consumers.
Could you provide an example of that?
Sure. For example, we have many different fraud technologies, and we have partnered with many different companies to support that growth. And in one of our prior accelerator alumni, we had a technology company called TrustStamp. What they do is they provide validation of identity and liveliness. And we use that technology to then support our global KYC processes.
Okay, very interesting. So yeah, very much trying to have fintechs create a solution that has a problem specifically
Exactly.
associated with it rather than just a solution in search of a problem.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the companies nowadays try so many wider angles, and they say, I want to be in the B2B payments, I want to be in fraud. And we just encourage the understanding of what is your specific gap that you're trying to address, because then that helps us understand the technology, and it helps ensuring that we have the right fit for the right company.
Right, absolutely. So with the accelerator, how much do the participants take advantage of FIS's sort of scope or access to data or access to merchants and so forth?
It's a good question. We provide a few different ways of connectivity as part of our accelerator. If we look at network and access to subject matter experts, that's one way of addressing that.
Sure.
And that access is unparalleled. The ultimate goal of the accelerator is to match businesses, our customers, and that's internal businesses, our customers and the company selected through a proof of concept.
Okay.
That proof of concept is really your initial stage of us vetting the technology and making sure that it's pressure tested, having an understanding of what our customer needs and their viewpoints of how that goes. And then obviously, if that's successful, we then look at other ways as to how can we partner with those companies in a more strategic way.
Sure. That makes sense. Do you, how much do those sort of target areas really change year to year? I imagine maybe 3 years ago you had blockchain in there or something like that. When it comes to AI, there's definitely a wave happening currently, so it makes sense that that's something you're following.
Yes, I would say we definitely seen an uptick in RegTech solutions.
Okay.
And I think that's going to continue.
Sure.
Same for fraud. I think there's a lot of new fraud that needs new things and new
Hmm.
companies to look at that. So I think that that thick has been consistent.
Sure.
And then obviously, I think there's a rise in digital as a whole and how does the banking system progress, as well as payments. I think there's a lot of different payments technologies out there that have been a big part of the current market.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have two questions left. One is, what do you see for the accelerator in the coming year? And to what extent, we've talked about the topics and what have you, but is there anything in the structure and the essence of the accelerator that's changing in 2024?
Sure. So we are changing a couple of things. One
Sure.
is location. We are going to have some of our on site time in New York as well as Jacksonville, which is
Okay.
our headquarters.
Right.
So I think that's going to be an ability for us to connect with our customers in those regions, with the fintechs themselves, and obviously the internal lines of businesses. And from there, the process is pretty structured. We look at ideation and capturing those early ideas and then running through the proof of concept. We're also providing funding this year. So as soon as we find a match between the internal business, the company, and the customer, we want to accelerate that in a true form. But I always say the hard work really starts after the accelerator itself, when you actually have to pressure test the technology and go through the successful execution of a proof of concept.
Right. Absolutely. Last question is whether there are any questions I haven't asked that you feel like I should have.
Um, No, I don't think so. I think you covered it quite well. One thing that I always think about when I think about an accelerator is the culture that you belong to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really interesting to watch from when you have 10 founders that have never met each other in most cases, don't know each other. Sometimes they are from different countries. We have quite a international presence from companies from the UK or Israel, etc. So when you see them at the beginning and that journey that they go together, um, by the end, they become a really nice network of founders by themselves. And it's incredible to watch what they achieve from there on.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So a certain degree of, I don't know, multiculturalism that happens just through the existence of an accelerator.
Yeah, and I think the different perspectives that different founders have, whether you're a founder with a technical background, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're a founder that has a different type of experience, maybe you've had a few companies before, maybe you've worked at a corporate. That mesh of individuals, it's really, really interesting to kind of see through the same journey as part of the accelerator.
Right. Totally. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.